Hey guys, welcome to FF Uncensored. Trevor is eating lunch, and I'm snuggling the new puppy. And today we are going to talk about gym etiquette while Trevor eats on this call.
I got to give it to Well Made on this one. They did a good job. It's like a Nashville hot chicken over some noodles. Solid.
Yeah,
Solid.
super.
All right. So gym etiquette. You don't belong to functional fitness, which is the first issue. I guess even if you do, but no, let's fix that. But maybe you go to a commercial gym. There are a lot of unwritten rules that you just learn through being part of a culture, right? And we
But some
like
people never learn these. They're just inconsiderate to other people.
correct.
And today we are going to expose the things that people do in the gym that are not appreciated,
And
kind of
even
gross.
and even just some like little things. There's some little things that we're going to talk about. Just like if you do these things, you're going to look like you know what you're doing in the gym. I'm going to give you some tips. It's going deep.
Okay. All right. Do you want to start today, Trevor?
Sure. All right. So I'm going to give you a little tip that makes you look like a gym expert, even if you're a gym beginner. And that is when you load plates, always face the words towards the inside. So the flat part of the plate is always outside. So this is only old school plates. A lot of the new plates, like they're the same on both sides. But the old school plates, they are flat on one side, like completely flat. They have a little lip around the edge, right? And then they have the wordage. So if you load them with the words facing out, I know that you don't really know what you're doing in the gym. But if you load them where the words face in,
Okay. I I of course do it that way. But why is that a thing?
so my thing is, my theory on it is, I don't know, it's just always been done this way. And so that's probably the reason not to do something, but it's always been done this way. Is it's a flat side. So if it falls off, it falls into the flat piece and doesn't fall with the lips, like the little lip that goes around it. So if it were to fall on your foot, right, and a flat side falls on your foot, potential for less damage versus like a little half-inch
Interesting.
lip, boom, hitting the ground. And I think it's from a loading perspective. So when I grip them,
You grip them
I
off.
grip around the lip, and then I could push it on, right?
Mhm,
Versus the other way is a little bit awkward to have the lip facing out because now you have to like grip it with your thumbs.
mhm.
And so it's probably the grip piece of it. Like when I grab it, I'm going to grip inside of the lips and then put that onto the bar. Like it would be awkward to do it the other way. So
Yep.
that's probably why it happened that way. But when you go to the squat rack and someone's got the words facing out, that you're like, dude, you shouldn't even be in the squat rack. Like you haven't graduated from kettlebells yet. Go goblet squat.
Okay. I don't care what level of athlete or performer you are. You probably should still goblet squat with the kettlebell, whatever Trevor's saying. Okay. All right. So I will go on. Wipe your equipment down. Even if you didn't sweat on it, wipe your equipment. No, no, no. Wipe your equipment down. No, wipe your equipment down. Wipe your equipment down. I don't know about you, but or here, and if you are sweaty, for sure wipe your equipment down because you know how many people don't even wipe down their sweaty equipment? You should wipe your equipment, especially during seasons where people are generally more sick. It is just the polite thing to do. I also have a gym where I have a lot of clients that have had insert some form of transplant. So I have a lot of clients that like it actually needs to be wiped down on a more regular basis. It is just considerate, especially if you're sweaty, but you should if you were on a mat and you had your feet all over it, you should wipe the mat off because your shoes were the last thing on it. Like, I don't think it's that hard. Wipe your stuff down. Trevor, I don't even want to hear your argument. Wipe your stuff down.
If you're sweaty. I think like cardio equipment, that's one where you
If
don't
you
think of, but you're like sweating on it.
if you are putting your back on it, even if you're not, there's still
Are people working out in your gym without shirts on?
No, they always work out in shirts on in my gym, but you're greasy. Okay.
So that's my like. Well, I get what you're saying. There'll be some people that when you're in a commercial setting, they will put like a towel down, like where their head is. I think that's considerate. You should probably still wipe it down afterwards, but if you're sweaty,
All right, what do you
if
got
you're sweating,
next?
doing exercises in the appropriate areas of the gym. So, a power rack or a squat rack is meant for the name is actually its use is actually in the name of the actual thing, squat rack. And so inside of the squat rack should be things like squats and not things like bicep curls. And so we should save bicep curls for the bicep curl area, which is over by the dumbbells. And then if you do take a set of dumbbells, don't pick them up and stand there in front of the dumbbell rack. You pick them up and you relocate to a safer spot so that someone else could come to the dumbbells and get the set that's right next to the ones that you just grabbed. So this isn't necessarily a problem at our facilities because we have power blocks, so everyone kind of has their own thing. But at most facilities, it's like a 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, all the way up to 120, 150, whatever, right?
And then there's usually a double rack, so you have the 30s
Correct.
on top of the like 100s.
So if you decide to go pick up your 25s and you just stand there because the mirrors are typically right behind the racks and do your curls, you are monopolizing like 10 sets of dumbbells because it's awkward to like kind of navigate around you to get the bells that I need for my lift, right? And so easy solution, pick your bells up, right? Go do your thing. And then we don't need to monopolize these dumbbells for the next 30 minutes. Like sharing is caring. We can go back and put these things back. And then when you get ready for your next set, you can come back and grab them again. We don't need to go like hoard the dumbbells in the corner for fear that someone else may use these said dumbbells. So, and for goodness sake, pair a couple exercises together so you don't just like do a set and then scroll on your phone for 3 minutes and then do your next set. Like, let's get a little density within this workout, please.
All right, I'm going to hijack.
There was a lot of things. There was a lot of things there.
There was, but I'm going to go on top of that one. When you are in the gym and you're in a big commercial gym and you're supersetting, you do not superset exercises on opposite sides of the gym and then get mad that someone's on the equipment that you're on.
Mm-hmm.
If you are not using the equipment, it is available to someone. That also means if you're doing straight sets and you're doing, I don't know, leg curls, when you are finished with one set of leg curls, you don't get to lay there for 3 minutes. You need to get off the leg curl machine, take a walk around the gym, and then maybe wait your turn again. It is not yours to hijack. If I train with a training partner and we're both using it, one of us leg curls, one of us is resting, and we flip back and forth and we rest in between. Yes, that means both of us are on it and we have hijacked this machine for a whopping 8 minutes for the entire time, but we are both using it. But if you are in there and you're by yourself and you're lat pulling and doing goblet squats, like you don't get to keep both of those things for the entirety of your superset. If someone wants to use the lat pull down machine, because there's usually only one in the gym, you don't get to be the only person using it. Let someone work in. It'll be okay.
That's the best part about the machines. I can sit there and just scroll on my phone and no one else can use it. It's the best. It's the best. All right. Next one. All right. I'm going to give another. So if I want to find out what type of person, maybe I personally am, or the character qualities of another person, all I need to do is have them go shopping with a cart and then see what happens after they load their cart with said cart. Does the cart just get pushed to the side, or does the cart go back in the cart corral? Which one happens? Because it's very telling on your character.
Oh, I know. So down here, our grocery store, Rouse's in the front of Diamond Head, doesn't have a cart corral. you have to bring the cart back to the front of the store. And now I know your level of commitment to corralling your
Mm.
cart. I return the cart to the front of the store every time, unless someone goes, I will take that cart from you. Otherwise, I personally walk my car there. Do you know why? Nothing makes me more mad when the cart's in the parking lot and I can't park in a spot because someone left a cart there, or someone leaves their cart and it hits my car.
It's a lot of things there,
Yeah.
right? But
So,
this is a very good character test. You want to have a significant other, give them the cart test. You have a new employee, give them the cart test. See what happens. It's more telling than any words that come out of their mouth. What do they do? So, how does this relate to the gym? Well, at the gym, there are times when you have to use weights, and you might take some dumbbells from a rack. You might load some plates on a machine,
sled, on a sled.
a sled, or a leg press. Leg presses are like notorious for this, right? When you finish said exercise, and like I'm not going to admit that I am 100% on this. There have been times when I've forgotten things on a barbell because I got busy and forgot about it. But put the stuff back. Put the weights back where they were intended to be. Not just in some like random spot that you feel like this is the best place for weights to be, but in a place that actually makes sense. And every Monday morning, I get the privilege of coming into functional fitness and realizing that people can find new places to put things every single day, despite things being labeled and very clear on the other weights that are occupying that space. So,
Did you know that one of the gyms down here charges someone a $20 re-rack fee if they don't re-rack their weights, and they will
great
watch
idea.
the video and find out who did it?
Great idea. Yeah, they make a ton of money. Um, so if there's a plate tree and there's 45s on it, and there's space for more 45s, what do we think goes there?
45s go with 45s, 35s go with 35s, 25s go with 25s, and so on and so forth down the ladder. Like goes with like. They don't go anywhere else. And do not, like, when you look at it, if two of the plates are red and two of the plates are black, the two red ones go next to each other, just like the two black ones go next to each other, because we don't be loading our machines with not matching weights.
It's paint by numbers. Okay, this is my second grader can execute this. So when you're in a space, and you know what, be that person that sees something that's out of line, and then they just fix it. They don't just sweep it under the rug. They're like, I'm going to do something about this, and I'm going to fix it, and not just leave it. So when you're in a space, a public space where other people are, what you do in your home gym, I don't care, right? But if other people are going to be using this, let's tidy things up a little bit. Let's put some stuff back, right? Is it too much to ask?
No,
It's
it's
not.
not.
It's not too
All
much to
right.
ask.
So we're talking about loading and how you load and unload machines. We're going to talk about 10-pound plates. There is an acceptable amount of 10-pound plates that you should put on your barbell. When you have exceeded two 10-pound plates
Per side.
per side, that is 4 plates, you now have to progress to the 25-pound plates, guys, or to the 45-pound plates, or add from there. So if you are someone that is loading and you're increasing every single set, and I know it's a pain in the butt, you have two tens and crap, if I have two tens and a five on, I might not be flipping if that's my last set. But if I know I'm putting 25s on each side and I'm going to go up after that, take your two tens and fives off the thing and put a 25-pound plate on your barbell, because there shouldn't be 55 tens at one station and none at any of the other stations. Also, the bar isn't lighter when you put tens on it. I know people, for some reason, a lot of women, they're like, it's lighter if I don't put the big plates on. No, no, no. It's the same exact weight. Like, it doesn't change the weight of the bar.
It actually may be heavier because you increase the distance from like where the actual work is happening. So you might actually make it harder. On that note, continuing with said thought, is sandwiches are great in the kitchen. Sandwiches are not great in the facility. And so, but when I say a sandwich, that means that when we load a bar, we start with the biggest plates, the ones that have the largest diameter, which are typically 45s, and then we get progressively smaller as we go along. Right? This is how you can tell. You can tell someone in the gym that knows what they're doing versus someone that doesn't know what they're doing. We shouldn't have sandwiches. When I say a sandwich, you might have a 45, and then you might have a 5 or a 10, and then you might have like a 25, and then you might have, I don't know, maybe you're crazy, you have another 45. Big sandwich. Big sandwich. And so I know. But when you get to a point, you do have to remove things and put things back on in the correct order so that it does go from biggest to smallest. This is very important. It's a science. And so I don't argue with science. This is the best way to do it. And that's just that. No sandwiches in the gym. Like I'm okay with mismatchy stuff. Like I'm okay with mismatchy plates and that kind, whatever. Like I'm not that particular. Some people are OCD about that and like, cool, do your thing. But like let's do it right from a big to small. Like it's pretty, like that game back in the like little kid game. It's the base with the post, and you put
The
the big
pyramid.
one on, and then you put the smaller one on, and the smaller, because the pyramid. I wish bars were built that way, where it's kind of like a pyramid where you couldn't put the small plate all the way on. You like had to
Well,
put the
they're
big
all the
plate
plates are
first.
the same size. That would be interesting.
It would be. So
And what would happen when you're someone that like puts all 45s on and then like they like move
I know
around at the end because
it's illogical, but it would be nice because then it would force the correct way of doing things. All right, I got another one there, unless you have one.
I mean, I do have another one, but go ahead because you're
No,
real excited.
well, okay, clips. Okay, clips should not be used for every exercise, contrary to popular belief. Okay, and so clips are a good thing because it prevents the plates from shifting on the bar. Very good thing. Okay, if I'm doing an exercise by myself that I don't have safeties for, aka a bench press, the only exercise that has ever killed someone, you should not bench press with clips on if you do not have a spotter. Because the one way to get out of a bench press, especially if it's really heavy, is to dump weight. Meaning I just drop one arm and then the plate slides off. And then if your brain can imagine it, the other arm then drops very quickly to drop the other side off. And you can't do that if you have clips on. And so then the bar does one of two things. It either rolls towards your neck or it rolls towards your waist. And so if we have a bigger waist, it's probably going to roll the other way. And so you can sometimes get out of it if it isn't heavy enough to be able to roll it down and then sit up with it. But most people put clips on everything, but we shouldn't always use clips. We probably should use clips 75% of the time for most exercises. But we should always, certain exercises we should always be able to dump or get out of. And that's one of them. Squats, you could argue, just don't squat without safeties if you're doing really heavy stuff so that you can't get completely bent over. But squats could be another one where you could dump it off of one side. But that's a little bit harder than bench press. So that's my safety tip, my PSA for the day.
If you are in a gym and you are on the treadmill and you're finished with the treadmill, it's like everything else. If you had it on an incline, return it to zero.
Which it shouldn't it, if you hit stop?
No, they don't all do that.
Hmm.
Like the new ones, if you hit stop, do sometimes go down. But like be considerate because if someone goes on there and they hit start, they have to wait for the treadmill to lower all the way down, which is really dumb, but it is just one of those little obnoxious things that you're like, well, I was ready to do this and now I'm waiting. And some of them, like one of the treadmills that I have in the gym is so slow. Like it takes a long time for it to happen. Like put everything back to how it was when you got there. If you inclined a bench, but all the benches were flat, lay the bench back flat. Like however you found something is how it should be returned.
Unless you found it in an improper position.
Then have common to figure out what all the other benches look like and make everything look alike.
Use your brain. One kind of fun tip on most treadmills, you can pull the emergency slip or the emergency thing. And if you pull the emergency thing and then put it back on, it typically resets it to 0. So that can be, rather than having to hold it, you can just, and you're done.
Or you can hit the button that says 0 and it just takes it down.
Not all of them have 0. Sometimes some of them you have to like push the arrow
Oh,
and
all
like
mine have zeros.
it all the way down.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get fancy ones.
Oh.
So I think that's
Okay. I got one more. I got one more.
All right.
Okay, so there are usually a lot of places in a gym that you can do pull-ups. If there is only one squat rack in the gym for people to do squats in, that is not where you're supposed to do pull-ups.
You could ask to work in.
You could ask to work in, but you should not be taking up residence in the only squat rack. And then if someone asks you for help, if someone asks to work in, don't be a jerk.
So the thing about a squat rack is like, it's really easy to understand because what you do inside of said rack is in the name of the rack. And so it's called a squat rack because it's used for squats. And so there's lots of other activities that could be done in a squat rack. That could be like, you could find a way to do them in a squat rack, but you should choose not to because they're not in the name of the equipment. It is a squat rack. And so, yes, it has pull-up bars. And yes, you should use it for pull-ups because pull-ups are awesome. But another common courtesy that brings all this stuff together is there is nothing wrong with saying, hey, can I work in with you? Or, hey, how many sets do you have left until you're done? So these are very good questions that don't offend anybody. And no matter their answer, you should not have an opinion on it. If they said they have 5 sets left, cool. Right? If they say they'd rather not have you work in, cool.
Have you ever had someone when you ask to work in and they say no?
It's very rare. Very, very rare. But here's the thing. Take note when you move their pin, maybe they're doing 50 pounds on the chest press, right? And then you're going to do 150 because you're jacked and like a superhuman. You move it down, you do them, move it back to where they had it when you got back in there. That's a nice little, and they were like, oh, that was very nice of you. I like you more. So like, be likable.
Yeah. I think that's good. There are a ton more, but this is a good starting point.
You should be,
remember,
you should look like you're doing.
Even if you're working out at Functional Fitness, you're still sharing space with other people. And it is nice to be considerate, to make it an environment that everybody enjoys being in. And no one wants to unload 850 pounds off a leg press or a sled if they weren't the person that did the leg press or did the sled.
And if you ever don't know and you're in a new space, act like it's your first time and just ask someone, right? Most people in a facility, even if they have headphones in, like I would say most gym people are actually like really, really, although they look mean and they got big muscles and all this kind of stuff, like they're actually really nice people that want to help someone. And so if you're ever in a new space and have no idea what the kind of quote unquote etiquette is, just ask someone and they'll be glad to help you figure it out.
There's never a time that I've been upset that someone came up to me when I have headphones in and they've asked me a question because I look like I know what I'm doing.
Right. It's a compliment. So. And you can even start with, hey, it looks like you know what you're doing. Hey, thanks. I kind of like you. What's your question?
How can I help?
Right.
So, but we hope this helps, guys. Until next time, see you later.